Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Lusaka, Zambia, and it is a beautiful, very, very hot Sunday afternoon. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this video is because I posted on my personal Facebook page and then also on Twitter my plan is for my latest project, and this is what I posted. I said my latest project for my Celeste, this and that YouTube channel that I want to make is along the lines of Trump. How has who he is and what he has done in the past 4 years affected, first, your personal life, and second, your country? I would appreciate participation from non-USA citizens, and you can PM this information to me here on Facebook. If you wish to remain anonymous after you've given your input, this is fine with me. I simply need different experiences from different people. Thank you. Then I said, PS, got this idea from a post that... Okay, so posted, I can't remember what he posted, but it was something Trump related because he always has some Trump related thing. Of course, his will always just be like funny memes and stuff. And then I always noticed, because he's South African like me, that people always respond. And the things they respond is very interesting. Interesting because it's just crap. Well, first of all, the meme will be a crap because any meme Trump related is crap. It's either going to be hateful or hurtful, or it's a pejorative, or it's derogatory, it's racist. And it's not things that, it's not what Trump said, it's what people make. Like they will say something about his skin, which is just racist, or about his hands, or something about him because, people hate this man. And then there'll be many, 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 many comments. So I've noticed this as a trend on not just his Facebook page, but on many other people's Facebook pages. Also on Twitter, also on Tumblr. And this has been happening for the past 4 years, I've been noticing. And so I thought, for people to put out so much content of hatred for a man, like example, if you're South African, or even because Malaysians love doing it as well, or if you like Malaysian, for a man that is not your president, why would he invoke so much feeling in you? So this is why I came up with this project. That I was thinking this is a good time to ask people, because he just lost the election. Well, I don't know, because he's not conceded yet, so we don't know what's going on with that. And so I'm very curious to know how, because I can understand US citizens, how he has affected them, why it affects them, etc., because I talk to them all the time. A lot of my friends are US citizens, and they're from all walks of life. They're all colors, because color is very important in the US, and they're all genders, which is also very important, and they are all sexual orientations, which is like another big thing in the US. You have to be, and they know all their pronouns. Everybody has their pronouns intact. They totally woke AF are my friends. The white ones, the black ones, the Latinos, the Hispanic, the ones who identify as some other race, whatever, and some other species, whatever, all of them, they know what they are. But anyway, so I didn't want their perspective, because I know and I understand, because this is their president. It affects their lives personally. But it's just very interesting how non-US citizens are very, 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 very affected by Trump. So, of course, as usual, nobody responded, Because as we know, everybody like to quack, 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 quack. But when you give them the platform to do their quacking, they chicken out, right? This is how it works. A lot of air. But that's all that it is. It's just air. But these are all, strong women and men, alpha males. But when you ask them to do a simple thing like this, they all become what we call in South Africa, in my language, in Afrikaans, moegos. Moeggoes. You can go and look that up. Anyway. So I was not surprised. But then I opened it up in some of my expat pages. Because there's only expats on there who are non-US citizens. And, wait, before I get to this one, let me... okay, I also opened up with expat. But anyway, going back to South Africa, I must admit one person at least did comment. Well, two. The only thing is that the other one who commented, although she's South African born, she's now a US citizen, so she's an immigrant. And then also, I don't want to hear from immigrants because you're still coming with your whatever country you come from mentality, and all you're doing is you're living in that country. It's like me in Malaysia. I live in Malaysia, but my mentality is still totally South African. So my perspective will still all be from a South African perspective. So I'm not interested in immigrants. But then the other person, I don't really know about that person, but I assume it's a South African. Actually, my bad, I didn't check. But anyway, and this is what she said. Well, he or she, this person said, I don't want to. And I appreciate it because at least someone is responding. So, but again, I thought people will understand because I did put, how has Trump affected you? One, personally, to your country. So I don't know, because when I went to school and then I also I did undergraduate and I did graduate, we learned that if it's one, then you must answer one and then you address the question, and then number two. But I don't know how things are done these days, but this is back in the day when I was still at university and at school. Anyway, so she didn't do the one or two, hers was just there, but I appreciate that. And this is what she said. The US is a trading partner. We can't do business with a half-wit, that's Trump, who doesn't understand that one of the reasons that the USD is kept strong is because Africa is forced to trade its resources in USD. Can you imagine what would happen if shithole Africa used a common African currency? That's the real reason that Gaddafi was killed. Okay, so I looked at it and I tried to understand how this is answering my question. And, but at the same time, I needed to do something else. So I was doing that. And I thought, because I normally have a linguist who helps me sometimes, I can just send him whatever and he will respond if I'm stuck with something. So this one, I thought I've also now I have a critical thinking coach that I can rely on. So I thought, let me send this to him and ask him about this. So this is what I said to him. So based on my questions, is this person actually addressing my question or going off on a tangent? Because as far as I'm concerned, this person was not answering my question and going off on a tangent because this has got nothing to do with what I'm asking. And he said, this is the critical thinking coach, he said, that person's response does not appear to directly relate to the question asked. It could be that he has answered your question by suppressing premises that would connect the needs of your question and his conclusion. In that case, I would ask the person to elaborate. So I thought, okay, let me address some of what is said and then try to extract from it, like wiggle my way around it. Tried that, more rubbish came out. But anyway, then I went to point 2 of what the critical coach said. He said, the reason I'm giving the person the benefit of the doubt is because of the principle of charity. When in an argument with someone and they respond to something that does not appear to make sense to us, we do not, for example, conclude their response is silly or an irrelevant one. Very important to note. Instead, we are encouraged to ask them to elaborate, or we tend to give their response the best meaning in relation to the argument. So that's what I did, because I tried to ask in many ways and even try suggest, do you mean this, or, is this what you are saying? It just went like, and then the coach continued saying to me, now he's addressing what this person actually said. He says, Trump has been in power for only the last 4 years. From my understanding, this person is addressing a phenomenon that has been there before Trump's reign, which I also said to this person. Or does he mean that Trump's presence as the US president has continued the unfavorable trade conditions that Trump should have changed then? If not, he becomes an accomplice. If that is the case, then he is blaming by association. So this is flawed reasoning. Like, duh, right? Okay. But to answer your question, he appears to go off the rails because I do not see a direct connection between the needs of your question and the person's response. I would therefore give the person benefit of the doubt by asking the person to elaborate before I conclude what I make of the response. So I ask the person to elaborate, blah, 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 blah. And my conclusion is that person is off on a tangent. So that wasn't helpful. And that was the only person who responded. So this was really not helpful. Whereas I thought this is such a simple question. These are 2 simple questions. How has Trump affected your life? Because I can see it has affected people's lives drastically. And I'm talking about non-US citizens, okay? Drastically, because the things they post about him, the horrible things. I have never ever in my life seen a human being being insulted in this way and disrespected in the way that people disrespect Trump. And this is by decent people. These people were like, they turned into lunatics. So it was I'm very interested in this phenomenon because this is new to me. These are people that, this is a stupid thing. Like, this has nothing to do with you. So why does it affect you? So I'm very interested in that. But I'll be talking to a psychologist one of these days too. Because it is Trump, the derangement syndrome. This is a real thing. You can see it. I'm sure many of you have seen it. You've seen it in your family or in your friends or your colleagues. You've seen it. You can recognize it. It is a real syndrome and it needs to be addressed. Okay, and then another person from Tanzania gave me their response, which was brilliant. Because this person is an educated person, which are probably the kind of people I should probably associate with or talk to, because I really cannot. This Bodo, that's Malay. Stupid ones. Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, so his first answer to how has Trump affected your life? This is what he said. If you ask me, I am probably naive because I have not noticed how his presence has affected me personally. However, I believe some people have been affected. Straightforward answer to my question. And to the point. So I know how Trump has affected him. Trump has not. His life continued. Then, about the country, his country, because he's Tanzanian, how did Trump affect his country? He says, I have not been directly following how Trump has affected my country. So I don't have specific references that would aid me to answer your question accurately and fairly. Simple, to the point, straightforward. He doesn't know. But he says, my belief is, to my country, it's just another day in the life of politics and American imperialism. I can't blame Trump personally. Even if Biden comes to power, that will still be the case. Solid answer. clear. And he concludes with, I have purposely used the word belief when he says, my belief is that this is what happened in how Trump has affected my country. Simple. Okay, it was only 2 people who responded, and I've put this on so many social platforms. But because nobody follows me, which is fine, but because I have a stat counter on all my blogs and stuff, so I can see how many people actually look at my blog. And there are many. They just don't engage. I don't know what they do. They read. I don't know what they read. Maybe they shared. I don't know what they do, but they are there, lurking, which is okay, because I'm not doing this for fame or for fortune, although sometimes I get paid, but it's not for fame or for fortune. It's because this is what I like to do, and I have the time to do it, because you know what? I don't work. I don't have to work. Okay, so continuing with the next thing. So now I will share my personal experiences, or how I am personally affected by Trump, and how my country has been affected by Trump. So first of all, like really personally, how Trump has affected me is like this. And this is because I don't know the man. I mean, I've known him all my life since I was a child, because he's always been famous. I grew up with him. He was always lurking. Then he became a celebrity. I watched The Apprentice. Couldn't stand him on that. Couldn't stand that actual show, because the people, this greedy, hungry, power-hungry people, especially the women, I cannot stand it. That Omarosa, whatever. Anyway, Omarosa. Anyway, and then, he did the beauty pageant, so, because I'm in that line of work, so I had to watch them, and well, it's okay, that's fine. And never bothered me, because he's a US citizen, and to me, he's just typical US citizen, loud, aggressive, full of himself, thinks they know everything, think they're the greatest. That's typical US mentality. You all know I have a lot of US friends, and doesn't matter how nice they try to be, they all have this. It will come out. I've not met one who doesn't have it. It comes out. But it's okay, because that's how you are. It's like me. I'm a common colored peasant. The peasantness will come out. The common coloredness will come out. So I'm okay. That's how you deal with people in life. You just know that's how they are, and then you work around it. So he didn't really affect me, and all the things he's been saying about calling, I don't know, like people say he's misogynistic. Yeah, probably, but then so was my father and my brothers and every male friend I have, and most males I know, so nothing new. He's a racist. Nope, I don't see it at all. But then it could be because I'm from South Africa. I grew up during the apartheid era too. So to me, racism is on another level. So I don't see Trump having that. I never ever thought he was racist. Then they said he's sexist. I'm just average, like every other man I know, because he hires women to work with him. He pays them equal pay. He's always with women. I've never seen him any sexist behavior. Well, this is me, because again, I walk around with different kind of people, and he is as sexist as they are. So if I want to say he's sexist, then I better go and tell most of my male friends that they are sexist, and my female friends, which I don't want to do that, because it's controllable. It's not out of control. So I would put him in the same category. And then they say he's like Hitler. Now, if I was a Jew and someone said that, I would be so offended, because how can Trump be like Hitler? What does that mean? That Hitler has never killed anybody? Because Trump has never killed anybody. Never. Ever. He's never committed genocide against any race. This is just a fact. So if Hitler is like Trump and Trump is like Hitler, so that means Hitler has never committed any genocide. He has never killed anybody. So if I was a Jew, oh man, whew, I won't let that slide. I would not let that slide. But because people hate him so much, they let it slide. So like I said, it didn't affect me. And then also because I'm the type of person, why would someone like Trump affect me? I don't even know the man. And on the other hand, that is an accomplished human being. That man is a billionaire. And is running the office of the most powerful nation in the world. Why would I be affected by someone like that? I'm not even in his level, in that category. He's like up here and I'm like down here. You know, so I don't get that. Like, he's on another level. You know, that I can't even associate myself with. I have to bring myself to his level and then maybe I will. And on top of it, he's a man. I've got nothing in common with him. So I don't see why he should affect me. Anyway, but that's just me because I am me and you are you. You are not me and I am not you. So I cannot tell you how you must feel. But, you know, this is just how it is. That's why I wanted to know what is it that affects him, affects you about him. Okay, but how it did affect me, I must admit, affect my life, is that because I've been traveling the world with my husband. My husband is a traveler. I'm not. I'm the trailing spouse. I just follow him. He goes forward and then I go with him because, you know, that's what married people do. So in 2014, the dog just gave me a fright. In 2014, we traveled by motorbike from Nepal through parts of Asia to Europe and then the west coast of Africa, from Morocco right down to South Africa and then back up to Zimbabwe, back across to Botswana. Now, part of the journey, we had to travel through Pakistan and Iran, Pakistan and Iran. And what happened is, in those two countries, in certain areas, we had to have security detail. And I mean, hardcore. Sometimes we had armored truck in the front with 6 guys with AK-47s or whatever, and then the one with the, you know, the gun that's on the stand, and zzz, you know, that one where you stand and shoot, and then another one behind, 2 on the side. Okay? And this is because in Pakistan, is because Obama, everybody's favorite president, was droning the Jesus out of people there. Because what will happen is, in some areas, maybe the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, they will go, maybe just, it could sometimes just be 2 of them, they'll go into a village and they hide there. US intelligence know they are there, they send info to the drone go there and boah! And they don't care who is there, they just bomb. So sometimes a whole village gets taken out just because of 2 people. So a lot of innocent people were getting killed, but this is things that we know. You can go research it, it's all on the internet. And so the reason why we had to always be escorted is for our safety, because there were 2 threats. One was from the terrorists, the other one was from the drones. The terrorist was because the terrorist was so anti the US and their allies that they would kidnap foreigners. The thing is, what we've also been told is, in our case, they would probably kidnap us, but because I'm South African and my husband is Malaysian, they have no issue with our countries. And once this has been established, they would probably just let us go. But in a worst case scenario, they might kill us, which to us was like scary, but on the other hand, it was also, because we know how the Al-Qaeda used to work that time. They will make a video, you know, where you'll be there all tied up and then you have to talk and whatever they want you to say. And then on the video, they'll behead you, cut you like slicing bread or whatever. and then your head will be like that, and then they'll put the video on the internet, which to me was fine because at least my family would know what had happened to me. The scarier one was the drone, because we might just be in an area where there's some terrorist activity, and then the US decide to drone the place, and then whoo, we are up in smoke with everybody. And as it goes, we will probably just be written off as collateral damage. Like, I meant nothing. I'm just a piece of meat. And the other thing would also be is my family would probably also never know, because, the US hide these things. And maybe only in 20 or 25 years' time, my family would probably will find out that I was a victim in a drone attack, and then but I've been written off as collateral damage. You see, with the terrorists, I would not be collateral damage. I would actually be valuable. My life would be of value, because they would want to ransom me or whatever. Anyway, so that's why we had to have this. So why am I telling you this is because this was in 2014. 2019, we went through the same countries again, and it was totally different. We had only in one area, one security detail, and all that it was policeman with a gun who got in the car and sat behind me. Now, if we didn't have a car, and we were still on the bike, he would have taken his own bike and he would have just followed behind us. That's all. And then we asked him why. He said, well, because under the Trump administration, there's no droning going on here. Trump pulled out. He wants to have nothing to do with what's going on here, because he's busy with this, I want to make America great again. So he's spending all his energy and money and investing it in his own people. He's leaving us alone. So you see, this is how Trump affected my life in this case, is because he made it safe for me to travel through those two countries. And interestingly enough, also, it affected my life, because the second time was better, because the first, in 2014, those two countries were not doing very well, because, especially Pakistan, because they were so busy with getting killed and then having to fix things up and then getting killed again and then must fix things up, that they had no time to actually invest in the country. This time, because they've been left alone, and also the Imran Khan now, and then they were able to build up the country. So as a tourist, I always like Pakistan. It's my most favorite country, and it's even better. Okay, so that's how he affected me personally, which means he just made my life safer. How Trump affected my country? I don't know, because I don't live in South Africa. I don't really follow South African politics, because it's very hard to follow South African politics, because there are not many articles online. People don't really share. My friends never share. My friends are not like me. South African friends are not interested in politics at all. So they don't share. And then South Africa does not have political commentators like they have in the US. Like you have your Ben Shapiro's and your the Young Turks, and you have your Dave Rubin. And even podcasts like Joe Rogan, sorry, ladies screaming outside, like Joe Rogan, where they can talk these things through. So we don't have this, so it's not easy for me to get information. And I have to rely on mainstream media and fake news. That's a thing. Even before Trump, this was a thing. We all know about this, okay? Well, not we all, I know, and cronies who work with me. My online cronies, you know who you are. You who work with me on the sensitive issues that we work on, you know. Anyway, so where was I? So I don't know how it has affected my country. But then knowing South Africa, although US is a trading partner, and I know Trump increased the tariffs, something like that, so there was probably an issue there. But otherwise, I don't think it affected the country much, because if it did, I'm sure my friends would have shared that on Facebook. Nothing was shared. All that they share is there's a lot of load shedding and crime. That's all I see about South Africa, is that the crime rate is so high. It's very scary. and of course the load shedding, and then there was the fires, but nothing about them suffering because Trump did I don't know what, one of his policies is crap. And South Africa mainly trades with China. We are pro-China. We've always been like a little bit not towing the line or following what the rest of the world is doing. We used to be pro-Cuba, we are pro-Cuba, pro-Palestine, pro-China. We live in a different world, so I don't know, but someone can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Trump did not really affect my country. So maybe this is why I don't have to rant and rave on Facebook or on social media about Trump, about his skin color and his hair. But also I can't, because it's very sensitive issues in South Africa, because criticizing someone's skin color and hair is a thing that is racist, because that's what they used to do during the apartheid. You were judged by the color of your skin and the texture of your hair. And so I'm not going to be on there talking about his hair or his skin, color of his skin, because it's racist. And am I racist? Yeah, I'm racist. I tend to sometimes be anti-white, especially now with the BLM movement. They've encouraged me to be even more anti-white. So yay, go BLM. Anyway, I digress a lot. Yeah, so that's how I would answer those questions. So sometimes I just wish that there were other people in the world, maybe even just one who was like me, who would, when people ask you questions, you answer properly. You don't you can be funny, but everything is not always a joke. And also everything is not always serious, but there can be a balance. It would be also nice if sometimes there's some intelligent people that want to make intelligent conversation and not just point fingers and be rude. Just be a grown-up. It would be nice. So yeah, this is the content for this video. There's a fly here now. There's a lot of noise. If you want to contribute to what I'm saying here, feel free. If you don't want to, this is fine. My life is not going to end just because you don't want to talk to me. My life goes on. I'm having a good life. I hope you are too. The other thing is COVID. Please take care of yourselves, because I know in most countries in the world, you are all spitting on each other and vomiting on each other. I don't know what you're doing on each other, but you are all not doing well. COVID is rising in your countries. I'm in this country. There's no such thing. This is Zambia. Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, so far I've been in. Everyone is A-okay. So please take care. Stay safe. Cheers for now.